Hey guys, welcome to another Thursday edition of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. My name is Nick. Today I'm going to talk about something that I've seen all over social media over the last week or so, and that is whether or not CDs are indeed finally back. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you click on that link down below. Go check out the Vinyl Den Facebook group. It's a cool place to continue the music conversation. There's a couple other links down there. There's one for the Vinyl Den merch page where we got t-shirts and sweatshirts on there. There's a link for the Vinyl Den Patreon page. If you want to support the show, it's always greatly appreciated. There's also a link down there for the Vinyl Den Spotify playlist where we're kind of updating it with just music we're talking about on the show every week. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give it the old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time we release new episodes. So over the last several weeks, I've seen a bunch of different articles out there about this topic. The numbers I'm going to talk about today I grabbed from the Spin article, but I think Billboard might have been the first one to report on it. But there's been articles from CNN, Market Watch, Loudwire, just about every kind of music source or news source out there has reported on it recently. And that's this huge increase in CD sales in 2020 compared to 2021. Just looking at the raw numbers, I think it's a pretty big gain as far as just like the raw numbers go. So in 2020, CDs sold just under 102.5 million units, which is quite a bit, but you got to remember that music sales or CD sales really only take up just a small sliver of the overall market. So that was 2020, and then 2021 it was just under 109 million units. So there's a difference of about 6.5 million units sold in 2021 over 2020, which is really big. And I know labels and bands have to be thrilled with it. They've really been pushing CDs and vinyl sales over the last several years just because they make more money on it. We've lived in the streaming age for the last 10 plus years where, to be completely honest, no one's making money off it. Unless you're Apple or Spotify or Amazon Music, those are really the only people that are making money off of streaming. Labels are making very little on it and bands are making even less. Every stream, you're talking about a fraction of a penny that's going out as far as royalties go. So no one's really making money off of that. So like I said, they've got to be really thrilled that we're really seeing this I think a pretty steep climb in CD sales. Of the albums that sold a lot last year, a couple of them really kind of stood out as far as numbers wise. Obviously, Adele's 30 was a huge winner for 2021. And the funny thing is, a lot of the articles I read kind of attributed a lot of the growth to that album. And she did a ton. Figure that it was only out for the last 6 weeks of 2021 and it sold 900,000 copies, which is a lot. But you figure there was a 6.5 million unit gain. So 900,000, yes, is a good chunk of that 6.5 million, but I wouldn't attribute it to all that, because Adele sells well in any year that she comes out. And I obviously should not do 900,000 copies with any of her other CDs, but that is a big number. But you look at some of the other big winners for 2021, it was really kind of a Taylor Swift kind of year, because Taylor Swift's new version of Fearless did 263,000 copies. Her new version of Red did 237,000. Evermore, which came out the year before, did 213,000 copies, which is that's all pretty respectable for if you take out the 900,000 that 30 did. But also, you got to look at some of the newer artists, some of the younger artists out there that I think is really appealing to that 30 and under kind of age group. You got BTS, Map of the Soul 7, did 210,000 copies of it. And then BTS B did 187,000 copies. And then Olivia Rodrigo's album did 195,000. So all three of those, you figure that's, almost 600,000 copies right there. You take all those albums I just talked about, that's what, 7? Those 7 albums did 2.2 million units sold in 2021, which is a big number. But I would assume that probably a lot of those are in that 30 and under age group. But I think my big question is this just kind of a one-year bump? Or is this something we're going to see prolonged over the next, several years? And I personally think it's something we're going to continue to see happen. because over the last year or so, I've really started seeing more and more foot traffic in the CD sections in the record stores I go to. Now, granted, I only go to probably about 5 different record stores on a pretty regular basis, and only 4 of them have pretty decent size CD selections. And there has been this more movement in or more people in those sections. But the thing I've really noticed is the amount of younger people, 25 and under, that are in those CD sections. And I think that's where a lot of the growth has come from and where it will continue to come from. People 30 and over have lived through the CD revolution, from the late 80s until the early to mid-ish 2000s. And a lot of those people held on to the CDs. I am somebody that did not, unfortunately. I've had to kind of go back and rebuy a lot of the CDs that I got rid of over the years. But a lot of people kind of held on to that. So that's why I think there's not a whole lot of growth in that age group, the 30 and over age group. Because a lot of those, like I said, a lot of those had the CDs. They're not going back and rebuying a lot of stuff. Whereas you're seeing younger people, 25 and under, not only are going out and discovering new music on CD, but they're also rediscovering or discovering older music that came out probably long before they were alive on CD also. And so that's where that kind of growth is going to continue to come from. Just like I think it's where we've seen a lot of the growth in vinyl sales over the last several years is maybe not that 30 and under age group, but I'd say that 35 to 40 and under age group that have really kind of got back into vinyl. They've also kind of got back into CDs, but I think for it to be viable long run or long term, you're going to have to see that 25 to, I'd say 30 and under age group really kind of get into CDs in a way that, they haven't before. You figure that younger age group generally doesn't have as much disposable income as, say, people over 30 do. So if you're talking about buying a CD for, 10, 12, 15 bucks compared to, a record, which is going to cost you a record, especially now, a new record is going to be, $30, $35 new. That's a big difference. You can buy 2 CDs for the same price you're buying a new record. My oldest son, Jack, he's gotten into records the last couple of years. He's got a pretty decent sized little record collection, probably no more than like 20, 25 records, but his girlfriend is actually big into CDs. And so it's I see kind of both sides of it. And I see her kind of growing in her CD collection. And I see that really kind of going on in the stores also. So I think that's where a lot of the growth is. I think that's where the long-term growth comes from or is going to come from. And that's why I say, I think we see this big bump, this 6.5 million unit bump in 2021. It might not be as much going forward because I think Adele and some of those other bigger albums did play a factor in it, play a role in it. But I wouldn't attribute all the growth to those artists. I think it's going to kind of continue, and maybe we'll see kind of a slow growth. I don't think CDs are ever going to get back to what they were before. At the height of their popularity, they were 93, 95% of the total market share. So I don't ever see them getting back to that point, but I think if they can kind of grow a little bit and maintain, I think that's probably where I see the market kind of going. So overall, like I said, I see this as a really, really great thing for the music industry, for labels, for artists, to finally go back to maybe getting a little bit more money from album sales. Because like I said, it's been a really long time that they haven't been getting paid for their music. I think that's why we've seen this big increase as far as like ticket prices for concerts. Because that's where they're going. They're going to make money on their ticket sales. They're going to make money on their merch because they're not making that money on their album sales. So it's kind of cool to see a little bit of a shift and kind of go back to CDs a little bit because it's a format that I love because you as much as I love vinyl records, you're not going to get the same dynamic range on a record they will on CD. It's just something that just isn't possible. And that's why I've said for a long time, as much as I love the sound of vinyl records, I think you get a better overall sound from a CD. Of course, as long as that CD is mastered correctly. Well, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Drop me a comment down below and let me know what you guys think of CDs. Have you gotten more into them? Have you stayed into them the entire time and not really? Because I know people that like that also, that have never really got back into vinyl and have kind of continued to grow their CD collections. Because I'm going to tell you right now, as far as buying used CDs right now, there's probably never a better time. There's a store called Allied Record Exchange down in Toledo, Ohio that I love going to. They give out this huge back wall. That's all $1 CDs. Every time I go in there, I find at least 5-6 great CDs to walk out with. So I think as far as like CD sales, used and new, there's really no better time than right now to get back into CDs. So I kind of, like I said, I kind of expect this growth to kind of continue, but let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and that's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.